Hi, I'm Sean.
I'm
We
Rhonda.
want to look at the next level. This is level 5, and this area is called needs and desires.
Sharing on this level tends to lead toward intimacy. When we can talk about what we need in our marriage, we may need emotional closeness. Well, what does that look like? We may need physical closeness. We may need interest and curiosity. We may need somebody to be responsive when we share, to look us in the eyes, to give us focus when we're talking. And we can start slow. If a need that we have, the other person isn't quite ready to give us all of it, what would phase one improvement look like?
I just think of Psalm 23 where he says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." And he's taking a role, a close role in our life as someone, as a shepherd caring for his sheep, by meeting a need, by saying, "I shall not want." You're taking care of an intimate need in my life.
And sometimes I think we don't always stop to think about meeting the needs and caring for our spouse. It talks in Ephesians 5 about nourishing and cherishing the husband toward the wife. But I think the wife typically does that in her natural role and responses. But I think looking at our deeper needs and being able to take care of a need that's not our own, I think sometimes we neglect, we're guilty of neglect in our marriage. We don't send our children off to school without lunch or having fed them. We provide food in the house, and we prepare meals for them. We wash their clothes and take care of their needs. What if the needs of our spouse are different? If we looked at the needs of our children, we'd be like, well, that's obvious neglect. But do we ever think, but yet this person has given himself to me in exchange for me giving myself to him? That's covenant, not contract, for the rest of our lives. And therefore, because of that, we're the only persons that are supposed to meet these kinds of needs.
Yeah, your spouse has been taken off the market, and God has entrusted you as a caretaker for your spouse's need, and realizing that they can't meet their own need. You're the one that is been entrusted with that duty to meet your spouse's need, to meet a need that's not your own.
And I think when we don't take care of these needs, whether we just are oblivious because we don't have good communication skills and we don't talk about it, or we don't care because we invalidate it because we don't sense that need, it's therefore not a valid need. I think when we do those things, we set our spouse up to stumble. It even talks about that in 1 Corinthians 7 about not defrauding our spouse. And that's not just sex. When we defraud, we hold back something that's priceless to the other person. But we also make them susceptible to temptation, even as far as holding back for the purpose of prayer and going deeper in our walk with the Lord. For a period of time, it should be agreed upon and limited. Why? Because we have a responsibility and a duty before God to take care of the needs of our spouse. So it would behoove us to learn how to talk on this level.
We don't need to be thinking that we're only aware of the need that you have personally in the marriage, but be thinking of the need that your partner has, because even though you're not as aware of it, you're still responsible to meet that need and treat it as importantly as you would meeting your own need.
And we could easily say, well, I'm already doing it, or I'm trying. If we think we're already doing it, but our spouse doesn't, maybe we have two different pictures. And maybe we need to pull those together. Well, what would it look like if I was meeting this need? What would I be doing or not doing, saying or not saying? If I'm saying things like, well, I'm trying, maybe our spouse isn't seeing progress. Now, when that's happening, what we can do is we can work as a team. Our spouse can remind us, hey, would you please do this for me? Because we're breaking old habits or making new habits. And this should be done with teamwork, with reminders from the one who has that primary need.
It could be good to ask your spouse, what would it look like if I was meeting your needs in a better way or in a greater way?
if our marriage was stronger and more intimate, what would that look like? How would that be different from where we are right now?
What would we be doing, or what would we not be doing?
And another thing I think about is the desire side, and I think about that as our goals. What would make us thrive individually and as a couple?
Dreams.
Yes, are we talking about our dreams and goals? Do we have a vision? You know, it says, "My people perish for," how's the word?
Where there is no vision, the people perish. Yeah.
And so, you know, if we have a vision in our marriage, we're shooting for something. We're aiming and growing toward and into something. If we can share those goals in spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, socially, vocationally, educationally, relationally, in all of our various relationships, in everything that we do, think about the many, many areas of who we are. If we share our goals and our dreams, we can plan how to get there, lay out the steps, and then put step 1 on the calendar.
You know, and this is something you don't want to be looking at that you're going through life solo when you're married. You want to look at how can you address going into all of those areas of life as a partner